The city of Surrey is growing fast. It's projected to become British Columbia's largest city by 2030. And that kind of population boom puts enormous pressure on the city's infrastructure. Classrooms are in shortage, hospitals are overflowing, and more roads and bike lanes are in demand. And on top of all of that, there is the ever-growing problem with extortion threats. They're dealing with more extortion cases than in any other city in Greater Vancouver. So we're sitting down with Surrey's Mayor Brenda Locke to hear her take on how they're handling these issues and what she anticipates for 2026.
Mayor Locke, thank you so much for your time today.
Thanks for having me. It's wonderful to be with you.
And I understand this year is quite an anniversary. It marks a little over 3 years since you were elected to be mayor of the city. How would you describe your term so far?
Well, it's certainly been exciting. It's been very interesting and full of new horizons, ups and downs, but you know, Surrey is a pretty remarkable city, so it's really been a wonderful experience.
So let's talk a little bit about those ups. What would you call a highlight of 2025 for you?
Oh man, there's so many. I think when our Surrey Eagles won the cup, that was pretty cool, but there's been so many times when, you know, we've opened up the new arena at Cloverdale. That was certainly a high point, and getting to open the stadium at Bear Creek Park, and really, you know, rolling up our sleeves and coming up with new and creative ways of figuring out how we're going to build the infrastructure this city needs.
To talk a little bit more about that, are there any initiatives or projects that you may be looking forward to for 2026?
Well, I think in 2026, a lot of things are going to really come alive. We're going to see the work, the fruits of our labor, if you will. We're going to see what's going to be the entertainment district in what is City Centre right here where we're sitting today, and how that's going to expand, the new arena, what's happening at Centre Block, and how that development will happen. We've been to Cloverdale, and we're looking at what the Cloverdale Entertainment District is going to look like, and starting to build that out and talk to residents about what their dreams are, what they have for expectations. And similarly with Newton and what's going to be happening in their town centre. That is the largest town centre in the entire city. We're doing a lot of those kind of large infrastructure projects. Right here, we're doing a large expansion of one of our community centres called Chuck Bailey, and of course the one that's going into Newton, which is the biggest one. That's going to be a major community centre. So those kind of opportunities are going to create places and spaces for people to come and have gathering times, whether it's sport or the arts or cadets. Cadets are huge in Surrey.
In terms of infrastructure, I know there's been a lot of concern around the rapid growth of Surrey, one of the fastest growing cities in the Lower Mainland, and infrastructure kind of not keeping up with that growth, with that demand. What is your take on all this?
Well, there's two infrastructure programs, right? The stuff that we do as a city, and we're doing our darndest to try and deliver for our residents, and that's really something that's important to us, whether it's the underground, the stuff you don't see, or the stuff that's above ground, the stuff that everybody loves to love, the fields and the community centers and all of those things. Those are all really important things that we have to do to build a city and make it a really livable place. But I think where our shortfalls are on those kind of amenities that are really the responsibility of other orders of government, particularly the province. We're not seeing the kind of infrastructure that we truly do need for healthcare, education. We're starting to see more on public transit, so I'm pleased with that. It's really a challenge, though, to keep up with Surrey. I mean, we're moving at a rapid pace, and I don't think anybody ever expected to see the growth in Surrey, but in the South Fraser generally, that we're seeing. So today, Surrey is 726,000 people. That's a lot.
I believe there was an exciting investment in the budget announced, $446 million in capital roadworks over the next 5 years. That's 2025 to 2029. So as we close up 2025, what can you tell us about the work that has been done so far?
Surrey probably is building more roads than anywhere else in perhaps the entire province. But one of the reasons is Surrey is car dependent, and we just face that. We know that. People, families, they have cars and trucks and SUVs and all the rest of it. So really that road infrastructure in Surrey is very, very important. We have certainly been doing stuff to date already. A lot of our road infrastructure has been doubling roads like 132 and all the roads going into Campbell Heights, which is our very large industrial park, really making sure that we're ready to support economic development in our city. That's something that we've really put our shoulder to. But we're also doing other things with that money, bike lanes. It's something that the public want. Making safer streets, so more lit sidewalks, more lighting for crosswalks, those kind of things are all something that we've really been spending a lot of time and money on.
When City News Connect returns, we'll continue our conversation with Surrey's mayor and dive into how she's handling the growing extortion threats in her city.
We can't talk about Surrey without addressing this extortion threat that we're seeing in the city. Over 90 extortion threats in the city this year alone. Can you tell us a little bit more about the city's response to this?
Yeah, you know, it's actually been devastating for our city. And I'm truly hopeful that we're starting to get more support from the province and the federal government on this issue. This is not a challenge of Surrey's making. This is transnational crime and something that we need all orders of government to really spend their time on, that we need their support, we need their money to help us with this. This is a very challenging time. It's not just in Surrey. We are the epicenter today, but it's not just Surrey's problem, and so we need those supports. But we're doing a lot as the city. We have a $250,000 reward that we gave to Surrey Police Service to administer. That has actually seen some reporting coming back, so we're glad about that. That's the largest reward money ever given by a city in this country, as far as I know, as far as I can find out. And we will do more. We have a general manager specifically and only for public safety that is doing an interface with the Surrey Police Service. I have a relationship with the chief that is very regular, sometimes daily. And, you know, just all of those things, trying to communicate with the province especially, because ultimately public safety is the responsibility of the top cop, the Solicitor General. Surrey has felt like an island. We felt alone for a very long time. Nobody was paying attention as this was really running rampant in our city. So I'm glad to see that the province is now doing more. The federal government is now doing more. But I still question, if this was Vancouver, if this was Calgary or Edmonton or Toronto or Victoria, I think the light would have been shone a lot brighter and more aggressively and more quickly.
From your perspective, what needs to be done, Mayor Locke, to truly stomp out extortion in your city?
I'm not a policing expert, but we need those policing experts at the table, and that's one of the reasons that the city hired a general manager specifically and only for public safety. We have to do more of that. We need those very specialized forces, intel in our city, and so going out to other areas and certainly to the federal government is really important. The RCMP need to be here making some of those decisions. They're doing that now, the Joint Forces Operation. We asked the Solicitor General for 150 members to help us with that. We have had some of that responded to, and I hope there will be more.
And on the note of public safety, Mayor Locke, I believe it's been a little over a year after the SPS was officially deemed police of jurisdiction for Surrey, and it did come after a lengthy and expensive legal battle around the transition. Do you think this legal battle, this transition, may have impacted policing services and addressing the threat of extortion in Surrey?
No, not at all. I think, you know, the decision was made, the Premier made that decision with the Solicitor General. We've moved ahead. They recognize the cost implications, and that is why the province has given the City of Surrey $250 million to help us deal with those costs. And so that was very much a financial issue that we had to deal with, and so we've been moving forward ever since. And you know, my relationship with Chief Lipinski is very, very regular. So there's two reasons for the cost. We're basically running two police departments at this point. There's lots of overlap. That's one issue. But the RCMP, they have lots of synergy. They have buying power that nobody else has. They certainly have a different contract with their officers. So there's lots of reasons that policing costs are different. And I can tell you, since in the time since we were fully RCMP to now, our budget in policing is up $120 million. So it is, there's no question, it's a significant amount.
City News Connect will be back shortly to discuss with Mayor Locke what's being done to address the shortage of doctors in Surrey.
I want to turn to the healthcare crisis, which is also a major issue here in the city of Surrey. Surrey Memorial Hospital is one of the busiest emergency rooms in the country, and that's impacting timely, accessible care for patients. We're seeing overcrowding. We're seeing people leaving the ER before treatment. And this year, I believe the city announced an initiative to hire a healthcare administrator and also put out a request for proposals to open spaces for family doctors in city-owned buildings. However, this initiative has a goal to just get 2 clinics online by next summer, which may not address the issue in the short term. So when can residents truly expect some real relief from this healthcare crisis?
You know, I mean, we all know that hospitals and healthcare is the responsibility of the provincial government. Our clinics, the ones that the city is going to be building, those are very specifically to help us keep family doctors in Surrey. So we are very, very pleased that the first medical school in, I think it's 53 years, is going to be opening up at Simon Fraser right here at City Centre. We want to retain those doctors in Surrey. And if these medical clinics help us do that, we're happy to do that. We want to get doctors into our city. We have right now in Surrey about 1/3 of the number of doctors, family doctors, that Vancouver residents have. So we need family doctors. Having a family doctor will alleviate some of the pressure on SMH's ER, but it's not the only thing we have to do. There is so much more we have to do. We do need that second tower at Surrey Memorial, and we've talked to the province, and the province has committed to doing that. We do need that renal centre that is now well underway. I'll be happy when that opens. But you know, still at Surrey Memorial, you think of a city at the size of this and a region the size of the South Fraser. We're probably about 1.3 million when you look at Delta and Langley Township. This region doesn't have access to trauma care, to heart, and to stroke. And so we really need to see that kind of service at our hospital.
I want to talk a little bit about this new hospital in Surrey's Cloverdale, which is under construction. It has a goal to be completed by 2030. But we did hear from doctors who were saying that even this hospital wouldn't be enough to address the crisis. So what is the real solution for you, Mayor Locke? What does it look like?
You know, every doctor I've talked to said they love the idea of the campus, the one campus. So they're really more focused on the second tower. They think that's a much better expenditure of money than the new hospital. Having said that, we will take the new hospital. We need every bit of healthcare options we can. There will be a new cancer center there, so I think that will be a huge positive for our region. But you know, it's a challenge. It's a challenge with growth that we're all trying to address. I have to say though, you know, for a city the size of Surrey, to have a pediatric ER in a trailer, it's kind of gut-wrenching. It's concerning. And so we do have to do a better job of that. And the province has to just put more money into Surrey. There's no way around that. We have to build more. We need that second tower.
After the break, we'll talk to Mayor Locke about how council is handling the lack of classrooms and hear her final message to the residents of Surrey.
I want to touch on another issue affecting Surrey families, and that's classroom sizes. Now, according to projections from City Council, Surrey could see 11,000 new school-age children looking to register in the school district in the next 10 years. And according to a report from Surrey Schools, the city would need to build 22 new schools, 1 expansion and 1 replacement at a cost over $931 million. So will the city be able to meet this ambitious target?
Surrey right now is a city of families. We have more children in our portables than some school districts have in their entire district. We have I think it's 86,000 kids in Surrey school districts. So there are a lot of children that live here. People want to live in Surrey with families, and so this is where families are. We need more schools, and we, similarly to healthcare, we need it now. And so I've been advocating for more schools for a very, very long time, but so have others, and so have others before me. And I remember one election where the now provincial government said there will be no more portables in Surrey. Well, of course, that's never changed. Our portables have only gotten worse.
Why has this been such a long challenge for even mayors prior to you?
Growth is hard to keep up with. I understand that. But they do need to put more money into more schools, and I think they just aren't predicting it fast enough, and we need more in our city. Now, costs is a huge challenge. There's no question. Land costs in Surrey are high. They're not as high as Vancouver, but they're very high. And so it's a big challenge. We have to come up with more creative ways of building schools, and we are starting to talk to the school district about that very thing. So in city center here, you'll see lots of towers with podiums, and more you'll see schools going into those podiums. The city is quite open to saying if there's a podium or a large building that we can put a school into, the park next door can be the playground for those children. One of the things that makes me really sad about them is that your school community, when you grow up, if you think about it when you were a kid in elementary school or in high school, a big part of being part of that school community are the assemblies or the sports days or all of those things that you do as a big school group. They can't do them when they have portables. They don't fit into the gym. Kids don't, they lose out on gym time, but they also lose out on those times when there's large opportunity. I think that's truly unfortunate because it does take away from that community building of the school.
Looking ahead to next year, we do have a municipal election coming up. So we do know Surrey First Councillor Linda Annis has announced her intention to run for mayor, and she's pointed to issues like overspending of taxpayer funds, especially when it comes to the police transition. And she's saying that if she were to be elected, she would prioritize public safety, transparency in government spending, and will push for a light rail system. What are your thoughts on her platform so far?
Well, you know, I'm not going to comment on her platform. She says a lot of things. She unfortunately never says it in chamber where we can debate it. But, we'll have our own platform moving forward, certainly. Right now, I just want to do the good work of the city. I think it's way too early to start talking about what we're going to be doing after the election. But my goal right now is just to continue with the vision we have for our city that we share with our community, and just keep moving forward and making Surrey the best it can be. I truly believe we are building the next modern city in Canada. I think to Calgary it was probably the last one, but Surrey is going to be the largest city in British Columbia, and we have to really put our thoughts, our energy, and our shoulder into making this a great, great place for people to live, work, and play.
And any last messages for our viewers?
I just, I think my big message to everybody is we're heading into a year that's going to be challenging for some people, and I hope and I know that in the city of Surrey for sure, people are extremely kind, they're generous, and I hope they continue to support one another, to be kind to one another, and really support those charities that need our help at this time of the year. But I think that, Surrey is on an amazing path, and we're going to see great things in the future.
Well, we hope you enjoyed our conversation with Mayor Locke. We'll be bringing you more interviews with mayors from around the Metro Vancouver area in the coming weeks. I'm Nima Rajan. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next City News Connect.